and welcome to my flipped video. This is Amy Gonzalez for ITL 516 Mathematics Integrative Design, Professor James Hartig, and today is August 16th, 2022. The Common Core State Standard that I'm going to discuss today is for math for kindergarten, counting and cardinality, number 6. Identify whether the number of objects in one group is greater than, less than, or equal to the number of objects in another group. Greetings, my friends. Today we are going to be counting objects, and we're going to be looking at some groups of objects and trying to decide if some groups of objects have more than, or less than, or are equal to the other group of objects. Remember that equal to means the same as. I think you're going to do a great job. First, we're going to look at some groups of objects that are going to be really easy for us to spot. Then we're going to look at some that are a little bit harder. And last, we're going to look at some that are just a little bit harder than that, but we're going to figure it out together. Let's do it. So here we have two groups of objects that I think we can spy with our little eye very easily which group has more and which group has less. We have some puzzle pieces here, and in this bowl we see there's lots of puzzle pieces. Meanwhile, in this group, we see just a few puzzle pieces. So I think it's very easy for us to spy with our eye that this group has more objects and this group has less objects. You're doing a great job. Next, we are going to look at two bowls that have some Nerf gun bullets. And I think it's also very easy for us to spy with our little eye that these two groups have the same amount of objects or an equal amount of objects. We can see very clearly that this bowl has one Nerf bullet and this bowl has one Nerf bullet. That means they are the same. They are equal. Good job. Kiss your brain. Now, let's take a look at some objects that are a little bit harder to spot. We have here some hair bows and some butterfly clips. It is a little hard to tell which group has more and which group has less because, as you can see, these hair bows are much bigger than the butterfly clips. So we might be tempted to think that this group of objects has more than this group of objects. So what do? We count them. Please count with me. Are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 hair bows in this plate. Now let's look at how many butterfly clips. Ready? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 butterfly clips in this plate. So, which plate has more objects? If you said the butterfly clips, you are right. Nom 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 nom. My dinosaur likes to eat whichever one has more. Sometimes you're going to have groups of objects that are really hard to spot with just your eye. So we have some 10 frames that can help us. Here is one 10 frame and here is another 10 frame. So we're going to put some objects as a group on this 10 frame, then we're going to put some objects as a group on this 10 frame. And we are going to determine which group has more and which group has less. Or we might see that some groups have the same amount of objects. Remember, my dinosaur likes to go where there is more. And if there is the same, he'll sit in the middle. So I have here a bag of seashells and a bag of rocks. It's hard to tell just by looking at them which one has more or which one has less. Remember, don't get tricked into thinking that just because they're bigger means they might have more. They might, but we don't know. Let's use our 10 frames and find out. So I'm going to put my seashells on my 10 frame. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seashells. Oh wow, that's a lot of seashells. Let's see how many rocks I have in my other bag. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh boy, that was close. Which one has more? If you said seashells, you're right. There are more seashells because there are 10 seashells and only 9 rocks. You guys are getting so good at figuring out which has more, which has less. So now we can make our own math problems. I have here a bag of erasers shaped like sea creatures, and we can put our own amount of objects in each group. And we can see, we can make groups that are more and we can make groups that are less. Let's make a group that is a group of sharks that is less and a group of fish that is more. So if I only have 1, 2 sharks and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fish, I can tell that I made a group that has more fish and less sharks. So now that you know how to decide which group has more and which group has less, let's draw some examples of groups that have more and groups that have less, okay? This one says, which group has more? So let's draw some objects and let's see which one has more. Let's draw some circles. I'm going to draw a bunch of circles. And then I'm going to draw some on this side. Which group has more? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on this side. 1, 2, 3 on this side. Which group has more? The group with 7 circles has more. You're right. Now, let's look at some groups. Which groups have less? Let's answer this question. Which group has less? I'm going to draw some triangles on this side. I'm going to draw a bunch of triangles. And then I'm going to draw some triangles on this side. Okay, now we're ready to count. Let's count and see which group has less. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This group has 5 triangles. Let's see how many this one has. 1, 2, 3, 4. This group has 4 triangles. So which group has less? The one with the 4 triangles has less. You guys are doing a fantastic job. I can't wait to see how much you have learned. See you soon, my friends.